welcome back to another new edition of Windows on Current Affairs. And today we talk about Decent Life Initiative or Hayat Karima, one of the very effective, most successful civil society initiative that has been implemented over real ground according to the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, 100% Egyptian hands and Egyptian volunteers, and have effected successes on real ground. Of course, this in addition to other 24 civil societies organizations. It's an alliance of civil society that is working tooth and nail every day to be able to supply or empower and enforce the Egyptian society, and especially the low-income brackets with their needs, and also execute the 17 goals of sustainable development goals. Of course, tomorrow is a crowning for the efforts of these civil society organizations, for the alliance, and they're all going to rejoice together with new alliances, new members of this alliance, also some civil society organizations, and they're going to host the Egyptians at large, the 100 million Egyptians, you name it. They're going to be attending a celebration to crown their efforts and also to enlighten the citizens before the holy month of Ramadan, with all the requirements and the commodities and everything that is required by the Egyptian citizen at very, very low prices, and gifts for everybody. So today we're going to be talking about also that, and we're going in particular to talk about Hayat Karima and how it started and how it had succeeded over the span of a very short time, as usual, to all the projects of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Hayat Karima is an idea by the president that was suggested by him and was executed by the hands of all Egyptians. We're going to be talking about that in detail. We're very delighted to be having with us here live in the studio Dr. Dina Gharbawy. She's Sustainable Development Researcher. Good evening, Dr. Gharbawy.
Hi Dina, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm glad that I met you today again.
I'm very happy to have you today, and of course every Egyptian is waiting in anticipation for the month of Ramadan. So the Alliance for Civil Society have that it crossed their mind to be able to enlighten and refreshen the souls of Egyptian people and citizens and the low-income brackets in particular, and prepare some sort of a festivity for them. Yes. And that's why they are preparing shoulder-to-shoulder event tomorrow that is targeting the Egyptian citizens at governments everywhere. Yes. And all the fronts of Egypt anywhere, to be able to suggest new ideas for their needs and requirements for the holy month of Ramadan. Lots and lots of ideas for the needs of Egyptian people, and it's going to be given and attended by most of the civil society organizations.
Sure.
So talk to us about this very amazing event.
Sure. So actually I'm glad that you have mentioned the number of the organizations that have participated in the first initiative, Hayat Karima. There have been 7, and now we have got the number of 29 organizations. So starting by 7, and now we've got 29 organizations participating in the event. So I'm glad that most of the organizations have different goals from the Sustainable Development Goals. So instead of starting by, let's say, focusing on health projects or focusing on no hunger projects, now we have all of the 29 organizations celebrating tomorrow, like the efforts and maybe the planning, because what is different between shoulder to shoulder and Hayat Karima is like the planning part. Hayat Karima started by a noble idea, and we know already that we have people who need support and who need, like, starting from financial support, health support, and many other different kinds of support. But now, with shoulder and shoulder, we added the strategic planning. Means like we have our database and we know the income of people, we know more about their locations so that we can reach them, and also we have collected or raised the interest of more volunteers in their areas so that they can talk to them their language. Because sometimes if you, I will not say hire volunteers, but if you have someone who is traveling from Cairo to another area that like this person has never been to, so the language itself might be different. People might feel afraid, like this person is a stranger who's coming to us, maybe giving a hand, but not someone who lives in the same area. Now the database that the government collected enabled the organizations to hire, not to hire, but to find the right people, the right volunteers to just speak to people who need support. And now they feel more safe, and they feel even that like it's something that is very warm, because again, we don't have someone who's come from Cairo just to say hi and to spend some time with us and to go back home. No, they feel home because the person who is helping is someone who they know, someone who has been to schools with their children. So if they need help, further help in the future, maybe they need a consultation regarding a project they are interested to launch, or regarding maybe any other help, maybe financial help, they might go to the same person and like get the consultation or ask for help. So the strategic planning part of Shoulder and Shoulder was way more advanced than Hayat Karima. However, the starter or the launch of the idea, like the beginning, is always something that we need to be proud of. But also how the progress went is something that we need to be also proud of. So starting by 7 organizations, ending by 29 organizations, like I feel like when you have a lot of organizations working separately, you might get the approach, you might achieve your goals to support people and to maybe eradicate hunger, or maybe get rid of unemployment. But if they work together, like instead of achieving one goal, you overachieve your goal, right? So I'm glad that I got like many connections with a lot of new people, and even when I received the emails that okay, we are working again, I told them like, guys, we have to like maybe to tell other people who are maybe undergrads so that they can help us with executing the plans. And now people who started Hayat Karima are involved in the planning and the strategic management more than the maybe the event organizing or speaking to people. And now you hired young people who are really hungry to gain experience and to get into contact with people who need help. And also you did not like waste the experience of those who started the first initiative Hayat Karima from the beginning. So this kind of collaboration is, I feel like it's kind of peace. Like the whole thing was initiated by the president of the country, and then it started by young people. Young people are not young anymore now because we have younger people. So we got those who have the experience planning, and we got new faces or maybe new minds with new ideas and new energy. Like I'm not sure what to say, but you feel the freshness in the giving. Like if you have someone who's very young, they are very fresh and they feel like I need to listen to people. I need to listen to their needs. Even the analysis, before the project management, the first step is to do something called needs analysis. So if you are just getting the needs of people or assuming that they need something, no, you have to listen firstly. So this can be done perfectly by young people who are really ready to listen and who have the energy to listen. So I'm glad that the sustainability is being applied. Like if we have an idea that it's not expired, we have something to add to it so that we can make it more advanced and we can achieve sustainability at its best forms. So yeah, that's what we have tomorrow.
Exactly, you're very right. Also, good ideas never expire.
Yes.
They develop, but they do not expire.
Yes.
This is one thing. The best thing that about the idea of the National Alliance is that they are making the best use of the most important part of this community, which is the people with the qualification, the people with the experience, the people who have had a long time of experience, and they have the aura, they have the characters, and they have the ideas, and they have executed a lot, or they have a lot of time that they spent in civil society working for years, and that's why they are assigned, and other people are following footsteps and learning from them. And those people are actually the fruit of this very powerful project, because they are the people with the ideas, they are the people with the minds thinking, they are the people with the experience, years and years in the civil society, and that's why they are creating a solid ground. That's why these projects have achieved success in a very little time. But talking about the different societies that are sharing, different societies of all types. There are health societies that are fighting cancer. There are societies that are also empowering the workforce inside the Egyptian society and the Egyptian citizen. Trying to provide job opportunities and open new venues for people. There are other gender equality societies that are empowering women and enforcing women in all fronts, women and children, many things. So talk to us about the different projects, and on top of them is Hayat Karima. Let us start off with Hayat Karima, which is our focus for this episode, and how Decent Life have developed in the span of only 3 years? It was only 3 years. So it just started 3 years. It seems like it was yesterday. And look at them now. They have achieved or covered all the governorates of Egypt.
So actually, I remembered how it started 3 years ago. I was in my last year as a medical student, and I thought to myself, like this plan is huge. Like, how can we achieve all of that? So I didn't expect that a lot of people will be joining. Like thousands of young people have joined, and I didn't expect also that we will include health, like starting by the health insurance. If you remember, I remember that I was here in the program, and I shared, it was just fresh, and I shared how the health insurance program was just, fresh enough in the planning phase, and now it's applied already on the ground. And like Hayat Karima is being shifted right now, or being upgraded to be shoulder to shoulder. So starting by the health insurance, now we have the initiatives from the non-governmental organizations for for children who are in Upper Egypt, so that we can eradicate anemia. Do you know that anemia is now number one reason for postpartum depression? Partum means delivery,
of course,
and post
after
means
delivery,
after
depression that attacks the mother after delivery. But
so
it's also related to domestic violence and and it's related to other circumstances other than health circumstances. Many women a lot of women, I mean, who gave birth, they suffered from postpartum depression because of a lot of very difficult circumstances and domestic violence.
I'm so sad to just to empathize that, but to make sure that I can.
And it also causes a lot of disease, because once you have this type of depression, your immunity becomes low. And you're attacked by thyroid, or attacked by some hormone disease that might affect your health, seriously.
What I'm trying to say is, if we just get rid of anemia for now, we can get rid of depression. So people or women are more motivated to help us in the initiatives. How to help us? We're supposed to help them. Like the main part of the initiative is to tell people that a change comes from within, because the economic crisis is affecting everywhere in the world. Like in UK, they have strikes. In the US, the banks are getting the banks are getting closed, And here in Egypt, we're trying to do our best just to survive. So we need to tell people that change comes from within. So if you're depressed, we need to just get the part of the data analysis. We have a health partition
Profile.
in the whole thing. Like the causal treatment comes from knowing the cause. So eradicating anemia was part of the, like, with one of the goals of Hayat Karima. However, because Hayat Karima was a big initiative back to like the time of 2021 or 2020, started 2020. So now we came to the conclusion of the depression of women also includes the status of their children, because if their children are not getting better treatment, if they are not well educated, if maybe they are hungry, the mother, you know, she's giving by nature, so she would feel depression. So that's the importance of having a lot of societies in shoulder to shoulder. So Hayat Karima targeted like a segment of people, like let's work on women. However, after 3 years, by collecting a lot of data and by working on a lot of research papers, we came to the conclusion of a woman is not a woman until she feels the responsibility towards her family members. So we need to take care of the family members. We discovered that the children need to be educated, and children like need to be also taken care of when it comes to having anemia as well. So guess what? Like 75%, sorry, it's 57, I'm sorry, 57% of the mothers who had anemia, their children also had anemia. You got the percentages more than 50%. So if you take care of the mother, you will automatically take care of the child or the kid. So by having a lot of organizations cooperating together, we have got a big table with a lot of data, and the data now are being you know, mixed together so that we can get a solution that is not acting separately for a specific segment in the society, that is acting on different segments of the society. And here comes the other part of the relationship between anemia and the diseases that come to breathing and also functioning, like for kids who work. We can ask them to stop working so that they can get educated, and the non-governmental organizations.
You're talking about child labor.
Yes, yes, child labor. So we need to eradicate that as well. However, people stopped
because it affects malnutrition also, right?
Yes, yes, sure. If you work too much and you have anemia, so you cannot do your job, like, and you will have depression because you're not able to make money. So it's a vicious circle. So if we have another organization working on child labor, and it's a big file, like it's not something that you can read a paper and then work on it. It's a huge project. So the collaboration between the organizations was you know, I will take your word, it's the fruit of Hayat Karima that was applied in shoulder to shoulder. So it's a big initiative. I have seen the numbers. I have read the initiative had a something like brochure. The brochure is 75 papers. Like the brochure is 75 papers. So I have read the number of people. It's targeting 25 million people. And the number of the organization, 27 organizations. And the number of volunteers, 15,000 around Egypt. So the program is huge, the initiative is huge, and also the number of the goals of the sustainable development is getting bigger, because now you're working on education, you're working on health, you're working on child labor, gender equality, and you're mixing all of them together so that you can have an inclusive resolution or solution of the issue. So yeah, that's it. And I have more details in case you're interested.
Of course, we need to talk about the different, to take a flashback and talk about the very successful foundation that was effected at the start, at the early beginnings. You talked about the health projects and the health initiatives in particular that targeted, for example, the eradicating anemia. And how important is it? Where did it target in Egypt, and how it was effected, and for how long, and what exactly was the program of this of those initiatives targeting women and their children? What were the steps taken, and what were the achievements also?
Perfect. So it was a journey. It started by women, because actually we knew that if we need to target a family, you just need to get the mother not out of the family, just to analyze the mother, and then the mother is the very first fine thread, so that we can know what's happening in the family. So it started by mothers. We tried to get the exact numbers of mothers who give low birth weight, because anemia is related to low birth weight. If a pregnant mother is having anemia, so the baby most probably will be a low birth weight. So we started by this, and we found that like in Upper Egypt, because women like get married maybe younger than in Cairo and the other cities, so we found that the age of the girls has an effect to the anemia, and also the age of marriage has a relationship between, or affects the incidence of having anemia, and also it affects the baby when the baby is having low birth weight. So it started this way, but we needed to have like an accurate number, so that we can know how many volunteers we need, how we can access such people, because you have another challenge in Upper Egypt. Like, you cannot take the girl out of her family and educate her about like her health and so on. You will act against the traditions. So it was a great initiative when we came to the most, you know, powerful people in the areas. Like
tribal, I mean the tribal.
Yeah, I thought like it's you know, the series that we watch on TV in Ramadan. Like,
tribal trades.
yes, yes, exactly, yes. And you know, they have been listening. I appreciate like true men who listen. Like, you have authority and you're very powerful in your area. However, you listen to someone who is 27 or 26 years old, and you're just being humble enough to know what's right for the health, and maybe what's right for your people as well. Because if you have the authority, if you make decision, if you are a decision maker, you need to listen as well. So I appreciated that in the men of Upper Egypt. And they also hired, I use the word hired, they hired their women, like their wives, so that they can speak to the girls who we are targeting. So, you know, this kind of cooperation didn't came at one night. We needed to have like someone from you know, the government, like the I'm not sure how we say it, but you know, it was just a circle. We need to target one person. So guys, we post on the groups, we need this person to be involved in the whole thing. So we keep on searching till we get someone who connects us with such person. And by the end of the day, we have been able to speak to girls. So it started by just having the
urge.
believing in the purpose. You're doing something noble that you need to put effort on.
Also, it's a very important cause.
Yes.
Because like you kindly noted, that it's the root of all problems.
Yes.
And also it's the root of all solutions.
Yes.
If you go to women and you set an awareness, a very effective awareness plan, then you are sorting out all problems.
Yes, it started by awareness.
If you neglect women, you're going to be rooting the problems more deeper and deeper and deeper into the ground.
Yes.
But also, other than the anemia campaigns, there were the health initiatives, 100 billion lives, and
Virus C.
of course, and the other health initiative that was targeting women also and children.
Yes.
I mean, we remember too many of them.
Yes.
And the blood analysis and everything, it was very effective. It even extended to other countries in Africa. And by that time, you remember, Egypt was assuming the chairmanship of the African Union.
Yes, yes.
And President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was chairing the African Union, and those campaigns traveled over the borders to some countries in Africa.
I remember now the idea of having the, you know, cars in the very crowded areas, because people are not like, if I work for 9 hours a day and I'm not supposed to go to the hospital because I have to do some, you know, I have some responsibilities in my home. So okay, just get down, you will find the car there.
The convoys.
Yeah. Can you imagine that this idea was just initiated from like an ambulance getting in the road while like we have traffic at 2 p.m. and there is someone else who is a delivery man for X company, because we're not interested to say the names of the companies.
Please.
And we mixed both of them. So what if we have the delivery guy delivering the health service to people, and we just get the car like of more of a fixed location that people pass by each and every day,
like a caravan.
So, yes,
a medical convoy and a caravan. Yes, and it was very successful. Yes. Even not only the low-income brackets, all citizens at large, all moms, all women, every one of us had this type unique service. It was given perfectly well, and even the awareness tips were given by doctors who participated. It was really amazing.
That's the best part.
And Egyptians, they wished, whenever you talk to Egyptian women, they said, we hope that this would be effected regularly, because we benefited a lot on many fronts from those convoys.
What I do remember that we did not plan for diabetes, to be honest. It was just part of the blood film that we do. It's just a blood analysis. And I was surprised that most of the papers, you know, we do research papers with the data after we're done with the project. So since I work as a researcher right now, I was impressed by the number of people who got the advices of controlling their lifestyle and modifying their lifestyle and controlling the way they eat, because they are pre-diabetic. And this is one of the initiatives that we are working on right now. I wish that I can like be a part of it, or I have enough time to be a part of it, because people wait till they are already diabetic, or their insulin is having like, or their blood is showing a resistance to insulin. Now we can like diagnose people when they are pre-diabetic. We will not wait for you to be a patient, or we will not wait for you to have diabetes. No, we can diagnose it while you are pre-diabetic. It's just a specific number. Yes.
Are there any conditions to diagnose it?
Yes, sure. It's very basic, by the way, but like it came from the idea of prevention is better than treatment. That's it.
Of course.
So we can expect.
It's an old effective school. Prevention is better than treatment.
Yes, sure. And right now, since all over the world, all of the countries, civilized or not, first in the USA, UK, and in Egypt and Africa, everywhere we have economic crisis. It's just the after Corona effect. So if you were working on prevention, you will save a lot of money, and also you will save a lot of efforts, and also you will make people safe, or they will trust you more, because you're telling them you're about to get a disease. So pay attention to that. So the data that we got out of the health insurance initiative, and also the blood analysis that we made, we got that Egyptian people are having a lot of, it was, I need to remember the percentage. I remember it was 31 point something, let's say 31. 31 of the people who made the full blood analysis were pre-diabetic. And they had to stay, I will not give you any pill, but you have to listen to me as a doctor. I'm telling you, it's awareness. So we just tell you that you have to modify your lifestyle. Instead of going to work, maybe you can go by car if it's far, but you have to specialize sometime each and every day to walk. Also, you have to work on your mental health, because you know stress is very related to diabetes. It's one of the risk factors of diabetes. So if you walk, if you have someone who is maybe like-minded to walk with you and to speak about things that are not related to work, that are not related to the economic crisis and the bills and so on, you will have less stress than what you have in your daily life. And this will not make you will not erase your name from the pre-diabetic list. However, it will lower the risk of having diabetes. Instead of having diabetes after 5 years, you will have it after 10 years. Maybe you will not have it, because by the end of the day, I'm not God. I'm just telling you it might happen, or it may happen. You have a high risk of having diabetes in the future. So I'm glad that this kind of...
You're just only doing your job, giving the people the precautions.
Yes.
precautions of how to prevent, of prevention.
Yes.
But also let's talk about the other important infrastructural projects
Yeah.
that were done by civil society, by the way.
Yeah.
The sewage projects, the schools,
Yeah.
the clubs, sports
Oh,
clubs,
yes.
and you name it. I mean, different things. And the last were in Minya Gidida.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
100%, I mean, a great percentage of it was Haikarima. They affected a lot of work on the ground.
I will tell you something that maybe like it was announced already in the news, but it didn't have the huge propaganda. Like, do you know that in Halayb, part of the project, part of the analysis program that we have made, or data analysis, that people have asked to have white flour, right? White flour, so that they can make their own bread. Instead of having, maybe the box that includes everything, oil and like cooking oil and rice and so on, they just need flour. And can you imagine that they collaborated together so that they can explain why they need it? Because actually it's part of their life, and it's part of their day to work together so that they can make their bread. And the whole thing changed. Like all over Egypt, we provide the boxes. Do you know that they are preparing tomorrow 20 million bucks? Sorry, it's 5 million bucks that covers 20 million people, right? But only in Halayb they give only white flour, because this is upon the request of people. Like, we will be happy if you give us what you want. Okay, here's what you want. So in Minya Gidida as well, after the awareness programs, we did not expect that like the most powerful men in the or the decision makers in the areas would support the educational programs. You know, they mentioned like, don't worry about having people hungry, because we don't have people hungry here. Just we need you to share knowledge and experience.
Exactly, and that's why President Abdel Fattah Sisi, I mean in general, the Egyptian administration is always targeting Upper Egypt, because
Yes.
Upper Egypt is a very good cradle.
Yes.
That is very rich in awareness and cultural background and everything. People are very civilized.
Yes.
And you can see that while they were receiving the president earlier
Yes.
this month, and how important the STEM schools were erected there.
I was
Some other schools were erected, some universities, health clubs.
Yes.
I mean, those people thrived for this type of work.
Yes.
And these type of projects were affected only in not only in Upper Egypt, it was affected in other governorates, but in Upper Egypt it was
The results,
warmly received.
Yeah, the
And
results
it had
were,
all the glamour
yes,
for
because-
Hayya Karima, or a decent life.
yes. What I do remember is like we celebrated the STEM schools because we have been trying to change like the ordinary way of having schools, because in Cairo, like Cairo is one of the big cities in the world. Like, I traveled to Georgia, I told people that we have 40 million people living in only Cairo, and the whole country there was 4 million people. Like, I told them it's just a street in Cairo. So we have a lot of schools here. So what if you, like, change is always difficult. To change a school here in Cairo to be a STEM school, it takes a lot of time. But in Upper Egypt, if you're having a new school, and again, to the most authorized people, they are telling us we need the most advanced part, and they gave us fund as well. Like, the non-governmental organization gave us, knowledge, experience, volunteering. The government is giving the land, like getting the paperwork faster, and like I remember that. One man, I didn't know that he's famous, but it was my first time to see him. His name was Abdurrahman something, and each and every day he was getting there saying, hi, good morning, and guys, why do you have Google Meets, like online meetings? Because the planning is in Cairo, however the execution is in Upper Egypt. So he was just saying, hi guys, we just need the school to be this way, because if someone is being sick, we need to have Google Meets. So we told him, we can do that, however, we need laptops. So he told, how many laptops do you need? And he even got like, how can a young child of 7 years old like get a laptop, a huge laptop on their back? So, okay, I'm afraid that the tablets will be a little bit more expensive than, okay, let's get tablets. So it was just like, you know, we are trying to get Google Meet so that we can communicate and share with them what to do, and the person
Was
funded
already
the
aware of the whole program.
Yes, yes, and he funded the tablets.
It's very promising and encouraging
Yes,
for the
yes,
volunteers, right?
Yes, yes, sure.
It urges you more, it motivates you more.
And gives you hope.
Right.
Gives you hope. Like if you're planning for something, like you're planning for X, and God sends you 4 X's. So what else do you need? Like you will be so satisfied by the end of the day. And I need you, or I need the program to have, or to have a report of how it looks in Upper Egypt. You don't know how people, like they don't, like they clean the place after they get done. They have the club, the school. So like I feel like change is always difficult, but to start something from the beginning, Upper Egypt is a very fertile area for all of the projects, and they have something that is very unique, which is people are genuine. I remember that my colleagues who traveled there, like they have been always giving us the feedback that people are generous. Like they have been eating healthy food each and every day, because they have told women that we are not interested to have like fat, food full of fat. So they changed how they cook food for them, and it was something like, I'm interested to do something, yes, we can do it for you. So this yes is so satisfying. Like instead of having a lot of conflicts and I need just to prove my idea, I need to tell you that you are wrong and I'm right. No, this didn't happen. So this kind of collaboration was not so much helpful to the people who are interested to help, but was so much helpful to the volunteers, because you come back full of hope, you come back full of faith.
Full of achievement.
Yes, full of achievements as well.
Satisfaction.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
On this note, I guess, unfortunately, we ran out of time. On this note, we're going to be ending it here. And Windows Current Affairs for this week, rejoicing together, taking highlights and throwback over the many achievements by Hayya Karima or A Decent Life and other civil society organizations. I would like to thank you so much, Mrs. Dina Al-Gharbawy, Dr. Dina Al-Gharbawy, and would like to have you once again to talk about more civil society organizations in the near future, inshallah. You are a sustainable development researcher. Best of luck to you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for listening to me.
Our real pleasure. And I guess this would bring us to the end of this edition of Windows on Current Affairs. Many thanks to all of you, until we see you again next week. That's a goodbye.